Welcome to the Twisted Pint Tavern. Today we're visiting r/D&D to answer D&D players of Reddit, what's the worst case of metagaming you've ever seen? Before we get on to the stories, if you have a story that you'd like to potentially see featured in a future video, then after watching this, go leave it in the comments. The best stories could be picked for a part 2 of this video. Now let's get on to it. One of my players had found my notes for upcoming sessions. The next time we played, his character was suddenly putting Sherlock to shame, knew the names of NPCs they hadn't met yet, and knew exactly who the boss of the encounter was without any probing. Alright, look, I'm not saying to read your DM's notes, that's just poor taste. But if you're going to read your DM's notes, maybe don't make it so frickin' obvious that you've done so. Knowing the names of the NPCs before they introduce themselves, like, come on. Once I was DMing a murder mystery module for a pickup group at my FLGS, and had a younger player say that they were going to the bathroom, then watched as they walked over to the module shelf, picked out the one I was running, and looked in the back for who the murderer was. The whole table was watching as he returned the book and walked back. When he sat down, he said, guys, I think I figured it out. And then this reply, in that instance, I would have thrown together a quick change and made the killer someone else just so I could see that sweet shocked Pikachu face when they were all wrong. I would have done the same thing. I mean, dude was so blatant about it, I would have absolutely changed stuff. Me. It's me. Due to the anonymity of the internet, I will confess. I've been playing this game for 46 years, and I haven't read a D&D book since the 80s. But my group plays on Foundry, so when we meet a monster, or a particular spell is cast, anything, I Google that shit. I'm good at it too. I don't just jump in right away with the only damage the critter ain't immune to. No, I wait a couple rounds, make a couple futile attacks, then randomly discover what does damage. I suck. I should be ashamed. Thank you for coming to Metagaming Anonymous and for sharing your story. Look, I know it's hard to share these things and get them out in the air, but it's the first step towards recovery, and one day you too might stop metagaming. Not terrible, but we had a stealth mission and split the large party into 2 teams. The secondary roof team achieved the objective, and someone on the first ground team immediately tried to dip out, even though they shouldn't have known we succeeded. The rest of the teams killed him for abandonment. Okay, alright, so I was like, okay, yeah, he just left a little early, little table talk, you know, not that big a deal. You killed him! You just murdered the dude I mean, I get it, a little metagamey, but you know what I do to avoid these situations is like session 1 or 2, I usually give them like sending stones or an earring of message so that they can communicate, hey, we've got the job done. That usually eliminates this need. On one occasion, a problem player in my group was having a bad night. He plays a very support-style bard and we were fighting a dragon. Dragon rolled well on his saves and fell back on his legendaries, meaning our bard was wasting all his spells. So he was pissy already. Eventually, the dragon, nearing defeat, offers a truce and casts Charm Person on the bard. Bard fails his save. Bard then goes on to literally refuse to speak on the grounds that my character knows that spell and would know I'm being charmed, except he failed to save, so I'm just not gonna talk. Then this reply, I know what a gun looks like, so I can't get shot. I'd agree that you know what the charm spell was, and that if you saw it on someone else, you might know how to break it. But on you, the whole point is that you're charmed, and depending on the charm spell, you might not even remember anything about your magic. So, Drow PC's about to face an Illithid. One player grabbed the monster manual, reading through the whole Illithid entry to check its AC, weakness, etc. Since we were just transformed into Drow, abridged version, we were former elves who were remade into Drow by our evil mentor and sent to the Underdark. And we had no previous in-universe knowledge about Illithids. I think it was quite bad metagaming. Then DM-wise, I never saw too much bad metagaming, but I saw very bad cases of favoritism. I've seen a lot of favoritism at tables too, and it's just about as bad as metagaming in my opinion, maybe worse. But to just go pick up the monster manual and read through the entire entry, like, is that stealthy at all? Are you even trying to get away with it? Like, no, you just want called out on it. I've been lucky to not face too many instances of metagaming, and when I do, it's usually minor and not meant with any malice. Sometimes someone knows about a monster beforehand, or other things like that, but rarely is it full-blown, game-ruining metagaming. I did, however, have someone throw a full-on tantrum because of something going differently than they expected from their prior knowledge. P.S. This is a long one. I had a player running a ninja-style character, and he was definitely an interesting guy to play with. He'd constantly want to be the center of attention, get mad when things went wrong, etc. Well, one session I had them fighting what I believe were giant scorpions from an older edition. It was something poison related. Now, here's the thing. This guy was an adamant 3.5 player at the time, and he was constantly saying that using our old 2nd edition books was just ridiculous, and we should stay up to date with the game. Nevertheless, we all enjoyed the older edition, and so we played it. Cut to the giant scorpion encounter. He runs in with his ninja recklessly, not caring about the danger. As expected, he gets stung. They're scorpions, that's going to happen. He'd rolled his saving throw and critically failed, so he takes hella poison damage and goes down. He was already fairly low on hit points because of a previous encounter, and he was playing all tough and refusing healing because a warrior such as himself didn't fear death. Well, he did now. I got an earful about how this was all wrong, and the scorpions don't do that much damage, and the poison mechanic was all me just targeting him. It went so far that I showed him the Monster Manual entry myself, and yeah, those things are brutal. Maybe don't run into a 1v3 when your allies are staying back playing it safe. He then started yelling about how he only took that risk because he knew that in 3.5, these creatures had been changed and didn't work the same way. Well, we weren't playing 3.5, we were playing 2nd edition. He didn't care. He slumped back in his chair, arms folded, and actually pouting, saying he had no interest in playing the game with someone who was going to, quote, intentionally use bad rules to punish him. After the session, he told me he didn't want his character to die, and that if I ever had him go to 0 hit points, he was going to stop playing for the night because I clearly had it out for him. I get not wanting a character to die, but if it's that severe, you need to talk to the DM about it well before the moment comes up. Also, even back then, I still did session zeros to roll up characters and go over game expectations and such. I always said that character death was a possibility, and if someone had a problem with it, to address it then. He said he was fine with it, but went on several times to throw these fits and say we were playing the game wrong, because he was so set on the newer rules that he just expected them to apply to him. And now that we've had a video talking about everyone's favorite touchy gaming subjects, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. We just hit 300 subscribers and we are well on our way to 400, so thank you guys very much for the support and I really, truly appreciate it. If you want to potentially see one of your stories in an upcoming video, make sure to leave it in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Also, you two who were playing cards over in the corner earlier, yeah, do you want to tell your buddy you keep an ace up your sleeve or do you want me to do it? Oh, I just did it? Yeah, sorry.